What are the ways to stop world hunger? Work tirelessly for an international organization, donate all clothes and toys to our local Salvation Army. Or it's even possible there are hundreds of theories on how we can end world hunger and activities debate many of them. Some have been effective and others not. One thing is certain, and it is that we must do something. I'm going to express some ways that could be the path of the elimination of the hunger or starvation. One of them will be sustainable food. Heifer International, for example, is an organization that helps transform agriculture. They fund projects so people can provide food for themselves in a sweetenable way. This is very powerful because ultimately we would like to see many impoverished areas not reliant on aid from foreign countries, which often causes debt and able to create their own steady supply of food. Another way will be the access to credit. Many organizations are helping people in poor countries to gain access to credit. Most of these credits loans are repaid, and they have created many industries such as farms that help create a sustainable provision for people and also develop nations economically. If these people do not have access to credit, they cannot start up industries that combat poverty. Another way will be the food donations. Although ideally it would be better to get the entire world to a place of self-sustainability. It is not something that will happen overnight. In the meantime, it is important to lend a helping hand. The impact of donations, both cash and food, have had an immense impact on world hunger. Organizations such as Food for All have customers donate $1 or $5 when checking out. Last year, they raised a whopping 60 million to fight world hunger. Another way will be the transitioning. For example, many families dealing with poverty need help transitioning into a state of self-dependence. 15 Feeds family in an organization that helps with this transition. They start by providing families with food, but they slowly find solutions to empower families to be self-sufficient. And it is important because self-sufficiency allows for a certain food income. When relying on donations doesn't always guarantee food. Another way or form to eliminate the starvation will be urban farming. Urban farming. Almost 1/4 of undernourished people live in an urban environment. Recently, there has been a big push of urban farming. Urban farming empowers families to gain control over their own food resource. And another way will be the access to education. This is the one of the most important for me, because education is the best weapon against poverty and hunger. It is especially powerful in underdeveloped countries. Education means better opportunities and more access to income and food. Additionally, some countries have food for education programs where students are given free food for coming to school. This may seem like a basic idea in the United States, but is life-saving in many underdeveloped nations. Another way will be the social change. This is extremely hard and will not take place overnight. However, many social issues, such as a war, pose a fundamental problem to halting world hunger. Ideally, will happen when world powers, such as the United States and many Western European nations, choose to focus on solving these issues instead of exacerbating them. However, this can only start when people in developed nations begin to care about those issues as well and pressure their governments to be productive and in ending conflict. Another way, an important one, will be the government intervention. Aid to foreign nations needs to be more focused on government interventions, like programs that provide food to mothers and their children in poor areas. This is not much different from many programs available in the United States. For example, another way will be the empowering women. There is a direct correlation with hunger and gender inequalities. Empowering women to gain access to food, be providers, and lead their families has had major impact on food access and ability to change financial situations. Another way will be the birth control education. High birth rates pose a problem when trying to solve hunger. Many people are not educated on reproduction or do not have access to contraceptives. Gaining access to contraceptive allows for family planning and economic freedom. In conclusion, it can be asserted that the problem of starvation across the world is not as insurmountable as it seems. With the right mix of a modern technology in the form of genetic engineering and better facilities for storage and distribution of harvest crops, the problem of starvation can be resolved once and for all. The problem of starvation can be resolved once and for all. All it takes is a sincere attempt by the policy makers and the business community to solve this global problem. This is a big global problem, and is in our hands and the hands of the government to look for the way to solve and stop starvation around the world. My name is Gueiler Jamis. Thanks for attention.